join me, and I hope that I can share some really cool stuff with you. I know we're starting a couple minutes late, so I'm going to have to speed into it. Just throw a pencil at me if I'm going too fast. Okay, so I am going to talk about, is this loud enough? Is this good? Okay. I'm going to talk about 3 things that I learned that changed everything. I had a super hard time picking out the title for this, and I went to my mom and I was like, I want an awesome title. And she's like, well, what are the 3 things about? And I was like, there's 3 things that I learned that changed everything for me. And these are 3 things that I learned within the past year that have just taken my career to a very better place. It was a little stagnant there, and it really helped me out. So I hope that it can help you. And it really created a foundation for the success I'm experiencing, and I think that it'll help me in the future too. Okay, so the 3 things are, one is a concept called flipping the switch. The second is social media and the internet and the power of that. And the third is a concept called changing with the cheese, which you might be familiar with. Mm-hmm. Flipping the switch. I thought this was a concept that I came up with in my own head. It's not at all. I can't take the credit for that. There's actually books written about it. Lots of books and blogs and all kinds of stuff. So if you think it's a cool concept, you can find much more on the internet about the people who are qualified to talk about it more than I am. But so the concept of flipping the switch is basically like a light switch. You walk into a room, it's pitch dark, and you flip the switch and it's bright. So in your mind, it's going from thinking negatively and having dark thoughts to just in an instant making everything bright and positive. So so what does it mean? I just talked about that. I first kind of was presented with this concept when I was here at Cleveland State. I'm a Viking, I hope. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I played 4 years of Division I soccer here, and it was some of the best 4 years of my life. Loved the school, the teachers, the athletic programs, everything. So when I was in my sophomore year here, I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's a female disease associated with a lot of chronic pain. So this is something I dealt with for my whole 4 years. I redshirted a year, and it was like daily pain that I was waking up with, especially competing at the collegiate level like that. I was constantly pushing myself athletically, and definitely not drinking it at all or anything like that. So it was only athletically. But it was something I dealt with. And so to wake up and have pain from already in the morning, and to go into the locker room and think, okay, I have to play a 90-minute game here. And I played center mid. If you know anything about soccer, I was about to put in about 7 or 8 miles in a 90-minute game, and I was not about to look at my coach and say, I can't start today, because this is my dream, this is my passion. So I was waking up a lot of times already with negative thoughts about how I was going to perform, like, this is not going to go well for me, I feel like crap. And people knew that because I had redshirted, people knew I was sick. So people would ask me questions all the time, like teachers, coaches, everyone, teammates, how are you doing today? How are you feeling today? And it was just like, well, I could tell you I slept on the toilet last night, and it's been hard to keep food down, or, I could just say so many negative things. But I kind of learned that there's no point to just constantly talk about the negative and voice that and verbalize that and put it into reality. I guess for me, it wasn't about lying to myself or lying to other people, but it became about, let's talk about the positive and not always focus on the negative. And speaking that positivity really changed things for me. And I came across an old journal that I had from Cleveland State Soccer that my coach made us do, and I was looking through it along with, critiques from film and whatnot. There was just these little one-liners that was like, I feel healthy today. I am strong. I am here for a reason, and I'm going to play good. And it would just be like these little one-liners throughout the journal. And I really think that was making a difference for me right then and there at Cleveland State. So this was my first kind of experience with flipping the switch and seeing the benefits of it. Again, I was making an active, conscious decision to flip the switch, recognizing when I was having these negative thoughts, and boom, flipping it right then and there. And verbally speaking positivity into existence, not constantly let me talk about being sick. Okay, so after my years at Cleveland State, I decided to move to New York and pursue a career in modeling and acting. It was a rough couple of years, I'm not gonna lie, but I eventually signed with Wilhelmina Models, which I'm totally so happy with them. They're one of the best agencies in the world, and I'm just honored to be represented by them. So I was immediately presented with castings and auditions with some of the biggest apparel companies in the world, honestly. And so it was intimidating for me, and let's be honest, you don't always wake up every day and feel red carpet ready, but that was the career that I was in. I had to wake up and it wasn't about the makeup and hair, but feeling that good, you know what I mean? And so there were days, you have a fight with your boyfriend, or maybe there's a death in the family, or just stress, man, especially in living in New York City. There's so many outside influences. People are just pushing past you on the subway, and you're like, oh, I do not want to be here today, and I do not want to be under your smelly armpit, or whatever. So, I had to go to, I'd have 4 or 5 castings a day, and I had to be very aware of how I was upstairs, right? And I think that this is something that we can all relate to. We all have these meetings or interviews and all kinds of things that we have every single day. And this is kind of where I learned about self-awareness, and really, I would take the subway rides and be like, okay, you know what, I kind of had a bad morning, not really wanting to go sit in lingerie in front of people or whatever, flipping the switch and saying, I am here in this moment because I worked really hard to be. Maybe I'm not at my fittest point, or maybe, but talking about the positives. I'm ready for this, and I've worked hard to reassure yourself, okay? That's what I'm getting at. Reassure yourself. Block out the negativity and talk about what's positive. And for me, walking into these auditions and castings, half the thing they want to see is they're going to feel it from you. They're going to see if you're happy and if you're confident and if you believe in yourself. Because why would they book me if I don't believe in myself? So they're not really focused on if you have a little blemish or zit or whatever, or your under eyes looking tired, if you feel it. So this was the second experience I had. And the third experience was here in Cleveland. I moved back to Cleveland, woo woo, and I'm with WKYC, that's Channel 3, yeah. And I'm so pumped to be with them, and I can go on about that. But I've been doing live TV, which is something so different than I've ever done before. And it is crazy when they count you down and they're like 3, 2, 1, and the camera goes, and you're just like, whoa, this is all Northeast Ohio, hello, and good morning to you. So anything goes. And there would be times I'd be driving downtown, maybe had a rough night. I have a 22-month-old. She's been sick for basically the whole winter. So, there's a lot of things that come with that. And I would have to, I'd have these negative thoughts where I'm like, oh, I did not look at this script. I don't even know who I'm interviewing. And I would just have to be like, oh my gosh, stop. Put some pump up music on. You are ready for this. You're prepared for this. And you know what? If you mess up, you're going to mess up. And everyone messes up, and you're human. But you're ready for this moment, and let's do it. So flip the switch. And I'm telling you, if you stopped me when the camera went 3, 2, 1, and you said, how are you going to deliver these lines? How are you going to perform? I could have told you right there in that moment, well, this isn't going to go well because I'm trying to remember what I'm going to say along with all these negative thoughts chirping in my ear. Okay, so flipping the switch, give yourself 30 seconds. If you're feeling these negative thoughts, give yourself 30 seconds. Okay. I am good enough, I'm ready for this moment. Tell yourself whatever you need to do that's true and focus on the positives, and I promise you, it makes all the difference. And again, this is where self-awareness comes in, and that's a whole nother skill of being aware of that negativity and when it comes in, and it's just like the little devil, and you need to take a little pistol and just shoot that negativity down. And yes, develop that skill of self-awareness, and you just will master it. Okay, second thing I'm going to talk about is social media and the internet. So, do a little survey here. Oh, the number 1 is gone. Okay, well the first question was, how many of you guys are on Instagram or on social media? Raise your hand. Awesome, that's a lot of people. So, how many of you are confident with how you're using it? Do you raise your hand if you think that you're doing it right and that it's benefiting your business or your passion. Okay, it's good, but it's not that good, guys. Just gonna be honest. But now, do you think it benefits your career? Yeah? Okay. So I don't know how many entrepreneurs are in the room or anything like that. You know, if you are, maybe if you're a nurse and you work at, say, like the Cleveland Clinic, and that's what you want to work there, and you want to be there your entire life, you don't want to do anything independent of that, maybe you have an Instagram or something just more for personal or things. But if there is any part of you that wants to, you know, have that independent brand and show your passion, and maybe write a book or maybe get your product out there, you have to be on social media. And then it comes down to which is the best platform for you. For me, I need to be on Instagram. It's basically more viewed than my actual portfolio at Wilhelmina, and I know hands down most of my bookings have come from people seeing my Instagram. For my mom, I know that she's on Twitter because she's a physical therapist, and that's a great platform for her. So yeah, figuring out, and if you don't know, if you have any questions about that, there's so much information on the internet. You could literally just put in which is the best social media platform for this, and it'll tell you. Being active on social media is something that's really changed my career, and I always was pushing against it, saying, I don't want to be social, I don't want to do the social media stuff, it's so tedious. But I've realized that me as an entrepreneur and me as my own personal brand, I can't fight it. And once I stopped fighting it, and I really was active in it, and I was making, that active decision to work on my social media and better that game, things started happening for me a little bit more. Oh, there's number one. Funny how that works. Okay, so, well, I talked about this a little bit, but why is social media so important? It's free. We were in 2018. Our great-grandparents who wanted to start a leather shoe company, if they didn't have the money, they were kind of, they didn't have as good of luck as we will. But it just levels the playing field, and there's companies who have a lot of money for advertising, and then there's people who don't. So this just kind of levels the playing field, that you can take your product and you can take your passion, or you can take your sketch, even if you don't have the product, and you could put it out there for the world to see. I mean, that's amazing. And I have a couple of followers that I have never met from all parts of the world, and I follow people that are in Australia, because that I am inspired by their passion. So it's who you can connect with is endless, and it's all free. And if you have a website, it drives traffic to your website, and again, it's an opportunity to connect and share your vision and be inspired by other people's visions. So making the most of your social media platform, I'll just do this really quick. Post often and at highest engagement periods. A lot of times I would post at like 11:30 when I'm about to go to bed, and I'll just like throw something up there quick. Well, that's like the least, I realized that's the least amount of engagement that I would be getting. So yeah, take a picture of that. You can also Google this, it pops up right away. And that's just something, it seems like tedious, but if you just remember those hours, you're gonna get a lot more likes. Because I know that there's been pictures that I posted and I'm like, oh, this picture's great, this picture's gonna get a lot of likes. And then it's like, well, I guarantee if I reposted that at, let's say, Thursday at 5 a.m., well, I mean, I don't know if you want to set your alarm, but it might be worth it, depending on where you are in your business. So just make the most of your social media platform in that way. And be empowering in your social community. I think this is something that isn't really talked about that much because it's so about getting those followers and getting those likes. But the whole point of being social is to connect and to be uplifting, right? And to share your passion and to be inspired by other people's passion. So follow and support people within your work community on your Instagram or on your Facebook, but also go outside of that. Like I mentioned, I'm with WKYC, but I have friended basically all of the on-air talent at Fox and Channel 19 or whatever, because I want to know what they're doing and I want to support them. And they have actually just recently, a lot of them have followed me back. And just to comment and to like their stuff, I just think it creates such a good environment, and it's only making each other better.